All right, done arguing in the commercial break with Dan Gladman. Too frustrating. Jonas
Stop having
Valanciunas,
commercials.
23 points and 15 rebounds in the Raptors' 117-100 win over the Chicago Cows. So, question for you. This new free-flowing offense that the Raptors have installed, does this poise JV for a breakout season? Will Strickland.
Absolutely.
It does.
And you know why?
Why?
Because the game has changed and stretched so much that you're going to get lots of long rebounds or inside play, which one-on-one, and as big as he is, if he can get offensive rebounds and score, he has an opportunity. When did you ever see JV get 23 points and 15 rebounds? And I know they were playing the Chicago Bulls.
Well, if you look at his opening night stats, he averages like 18 and 11 on opening night.
Yeah, that's
so
opening night, and so
all
he
that
has to
rest
sustain
usually
that.
helps him.
He's
He has
had
to
some big
sustain that.
rebound games in the playoffs.
But I'm talking about like sustaining that. Like he should be.
100%.
If we're talking about
That's the
JV being
question.
a cog on this team, he has to be a consistent 16 and 12 guy, or he's useless to this team as a starter. All right.
It was a weird game all around. It's hard to take anything from game number one for the
Bulls
Raptors
suck.
because the Bulls are somehow turned into the Brooklyn Nets overnight. And there was 8 points combined from DeRozan, Lowry, and Ibaka after the first half. I mean, that's not
But
going to
they were
happen.
winning by
But they
20.
were winning by 21
The second unit
points.
played well.
That's why you like the glimpses of what you saw. You like what you saw from JV. You like what you saw from the bench in particular. But you kind of move on. You look forward to Saturday in Philadelphia because that's going to be more of a truer test to see this team go up against a very good young team in this league, a team that does move the ball, does run the floor.
Let's take a large scope look at the Eastern Conference because people around Toronto and in the Raptors franchise have been offended with the way the mainstream media, especially in the United States, has talked about this team. So after Boston and Cleveland, who do you guys feel are the franchises in the East that actually challenge Toronto this season?
Well, first of all, who cares what American publications and media
Obviously
has
Canadians
to say
do, 'cause
about
that little brother complex still
the
sits
Canadian, the Raptors, and the basketball audience need to stop caring about what the American media says about our team. Look, we'll worry about our team.
Bulletin
We'll
board
cover
material.
it. They don't need that kind of motivation to go out there. I think they're top 2 or 3 in the East. We talked about Cleveland being a veteran team. The regular season means zip to Cleveland. The Raptors, against subpar competition like last night, dominate those teams. They've done it for the last 4 years. There's no reason they
So
can't
who are
this
their
year.
rivals in this Eastern Conference then?
Boston and Washington. Cleveland is in a league
Can
of
we
their
forget
own because
about
of the
Milwaukee?
playoffs.
I was about to say,
Forget about
too.
Milwaukee.
I
I was about to say.
I'm
And
intentionally
disrespecting
leaving them
a
out.
kid
They
who
have
could be-
one player.
Who's
Okay.
better than
How did Cleveland do when they only had LeBron?
Well,
Did
you
Toronto
look
beat
at-
them?
Years
something-
ago.
There's something scary about Milwaukee in that Giannis is starting to become like Neo in the Matrix when he figured out he could stop bullets. He really is. So, and he's so young, he's so athletic, but he's starting to get it now. And Jason Kidd is letting him loose. Malcolm Brogdon is a smart point guard for them as a starter.
If
we
he's your
don't know what
second
Jabari
best
pla-
player,
No, I'm not saying he is necessarily.
Jabari's there.
But hold on a
We're
second
talking
here.
about
Like,
challenging. We're talking about challenging
Milwaukee's
Toronto.
not
in the East.
challenging
We're not
the
talking
top
about
4.
challenging for the championship.
when it comes
Milwaukee's
to the
not
Raptors,
top
though,
4.
you need to worry about what's going on in Toronto and not anywhere else. So let's assess what this team is or is not right now. Are they better than the team last year? Just considering the players that they lost, this youth movement coming on the bench, I say potentially. To me,
yes.
they are one shooter, that one score away from having 2 pretty complete units. Fred VanVleet on that second unit, maybe not the best fit, but if you have another guy that can extend and stretch the floor,
What about
OJ
CJ Miles?
Anunoby, good look. CJ Miles is the one guy, but if you have someone else beside him that's scoring off the bench,
Looks pretty
I think the
good to me.
Raptors can play with a lot of teams in this league across the board. And so whether you call it disrespect or whatever, the Raptors just need to make sure that there's still that gradual progression in their youth. And if the young players do step up, then yes, this team can be something.
Where do you have them finishing at the end of the regular season?
Again, after game 1, it's very difficult, but they're
You have to.
definitely-
You have to.
they're-
This is what you're
just let
paid
me
to do.
finish. They're definitely a top 3 team in the Eastern Conference for me. But how good they're going to be, that's up to them. That's up to this organization. If they can pawn off some assets, I think they're one score away,
Okay.
legitimately, from being a team
Now,
that's knocking on that door.
Sticking with that thought you had about being one scorer away, last year Norman Powell came out and showed everybody that he is worth the $40 million that he just earned with this franchise. Who, this young crop of players, is going to be this year's Norman
Pressure's
Powell.
on their OG Anunoby, right? Like, he's the one guy with the makeup, the composure, the skill set. He's long. He can hit the corner three. He can get to the hoop. Like, he's the guy that this team needs to count on to help him take that next step.
I think that Delon Wright, and to tell you the truth, I was higher on Norman Powell than I was on Delon Wright. But Delon Wright has worked on his game, and you watch, he has sneaker footwork to the basket. He can get to the saucepan, make smart passes, and plays defense. So I like a young guy like that who can help you in the backcourt and replace a guy like Corey Joseph.
That was the plan. Dan?
I mean, we talked about this, you and I think we talked about it last week. And I said Pirtle's a guy who's going to emerge this year. And I don't think you can put a lot on Anunoby, although what we're seeing from him is incredible. Still a rookie.
But for the team to be that good, to take the next step, he has to be the guy,
but
right?
you can't ask that this year.
You can't ask it, but for this team to reach its expectations.
Delon Wright,
yeah.
Delon Wright is the key. He's the guy who, as running the second unit, if he can do what he did last night, 13 points, couple of assists, couple of steals leading to fast breaks, to me, he's that extra guy who takes them a little bit further than where they were.
See, but I think you can ask that of him. In a league where rookies are so good, why can Jason Tatum be the guy? Why can't he be automatically
I don't think he can be the guy
year
either.
and an impact player in the Celtics? Why can't Anunoby be that for this Raptors
I
team?
don't think Tatum can
you
either.
ask that of him, but it won't be him. The guy you're really going to need is a guy who's going to run that second unit, like Dan was saying, and has to step up in a way that's going to be impactful for this team.
I got it, but based upon DeLon's skill set, I love him defensively. I love the way he runs the offense. Can't hit an outside shot. They need to surround him with players.
They have tons of guys who can hit outside shots.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I think that one score short. And if Anunoby can fill that gap, fill that void,
I don't think
that makes
short.
that second unit
They
that much
are
better.
going to score 115 points
listen,
a night with the current roster.
I can listen to you guys argue about this all day, but unfortunately,
and we probably will.
Unfortunately, we got to go to commercial break because we got
Dan said get rid of commercials.
Get rid of them.
No, never. We need to get
Commercial
paid.
free.
I want my money. Still more to come here on Canada's Home for Talking Hoops. When we return, we talk about Adam Silver's goal to abolish the one and done and what that means for the NCAA. Head out!